everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the June 8th, 2019 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G this beautiful day here in New York City. I actually got to wish a happy birthday to my sister, Tony. Happy birthday, sister. I hope you had a great day today, and welcome all of you to the 1950s and early 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. We opened up tonight with on the Lester Bahari's Meteor record label, Saxman Brown and the Broom Dusters with a tune called Sax Symphonic Boogie. Came out in October of 1955. Now, his real name was J.T. Brown, a.k.a. Bep Brown, but on this release he was known as Saxman Brown. He was tenor saxophonist. I think Elmore James also was on guitar on this release, plus it's Elmore's backup band, the Broom Dusters, there. But anyway, from October 1955 on the Meteor label, we opened up with Saxman Brown and his Broom Dusters with Sax Symphonic Boogie. Well, enough of my babbling here. We open up with the vocal portion on George Golner's Bernice label. Now, this record has some West Coast connection with George Mottola and his wife, Ricky Page, in some way. And the ballad side, it gives George Mottola writer credits, and the publisher on both sides is Rick Page Music. So something's happening. That was Mottola's wife's publishing company. But anyway, let's go to October 58 on the Bernice label for Billy the Kid and the Supremes. And the opener tonight is a song entitled You Are Mine.
You are mine.
That's from October 1958, Billy the Kid and the Supremes. Can't find any information on that group, but it's on one of those oddball George Golner labeled Bernice records. Something on that record with George Mottola for sure. You Are Mine is the name of that one. Now, this record was reviewed in Billboard December 8th, 1958 as just Billy the Kid. They didn't mention the group there, the Supremes. Now, the A-side is a ballad with girls in the background. It's called Be My Love. They rate that flip as this side, though. They rate this one as Billy the Kid sounds more like a group here with a big sound in group style. Lots of noise in a cacophonic kick could stir up some activity with the teeners. A wild side. That's what Billboard rated that one anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that tune here. As we play original vinyl 45s. No 78s tonight. I took a break from the 78s for tonight. So let's just do all 45s here. And up next, the lead singer of the Willows. And on the last show, I played the A-side to the Willows last release on the Melba label, a song called Little Darling. Now, the flip of that will follow shortly, but this 45 is back on George Goldner's. We go back to George Goldner's Gone label for this one. Now, some copies for you collectors out there mention the group, and others do not. Mention the group The Willows. But this is a cover song recorded by so many groups through the years. We go to October 57. Mine says Tony Middleton with The Willows on the Gone label, and his rendition of the tune Let's Fall in Love.
Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are meant to be. Let's take a chance and let's close our eyes. We can make our own paradise. A little we know of this, still we can try. Though we might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Tony Middleton with The Willows. That's what my copy says. Others might just say Tony Middleton. That one there, George Goldner's Gone record label. October 1957 release. His rendition of the tune Let's Fall in Love. Very cool rockin' tune here. We count down the music chronologically here on Saturday evenings on the 50s and early 60s edition. And we go now to Joe Davis's JD record label for this one. Now, the lead singer for this group was first a member of the Ravens back in 1946, but he's doing lead with this group called the Blenders. His name is Ollie Jones. Now, the majority of their releases came out on the Decca label, and a couple came out on the MGM label. This one is on the JD label, though. We go to August of 1953. Now, in 1973, a real raunchy version of this song came out. I don't know if it's available on YouTube, because they definitely could not use the slang word that was in the title of this. But anyway, if you have a vivid imagination, you could figure it out. It might be available somewhere on YouTube. I don't know, but this is the way it came out originally in 1953, August of 53. Give a listen to the Blenders on JD. It's called Don't Play Around with Love.
Well, take a little advice from me. Play around with TNT, but baby, don't play around with love. Well, mess around with a hungry bear, grab a tiger by the hair, but baby, don't play around with love. enjoy. Big explosion. Well, when you say the words I love you, just be sure each word is true. And baby, don't play around with love.
Take a little advice from me. Play around with TNT, but baby, don't play around with love.
No, no, no.
Mess around with the hungry bear. Grab a tiger by its hair, but baby, don't play around with love.
No, no, no.
Never toy with emotion, lest you enjoy big explosion. When you say the words I love you, just be sure each word is true. But baby, don't play around with love.
No, no, no. Take a little advice from me. Play around with TNT. Mess around with a hungry bear. Grab a tiger by the hair. When you say the words I love you, be sure each word is true. But don't play around with love. No, 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 don't do it.
Take a little advice
Don't
from me.
play around
with
Look out for that bear.
with the
Oh, he'll slap you down.
Grab a tiger by the hair.
When you say, I love you, be sure each
word is true.
but don't play around with love.
Early sides here on the Vinytreasure Show, going way back for that one, August 1953, way before Johnny G was born. Those are the Blenders with Ollie Jones on lead on Joe Davis's JD record label, the Pink JD label. Don't Play Around with Love. I don't forget who reissued it the raunchy way. They don't say don't play around with love. They use a curse word in replace of play. I think maybe the broadcast label. There's some raunchy records on the broadcast label. I cannot play them over the air here. Hi-Fi Tim will ban me for a month if I do so, but I do have some by the Clovers, I think, and some other groups. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Got some flip sides from last week's Vinytreasure Show. Our first is by Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters, aka the Moonglows, as we go to the Checker label for this one. And last week I played the side Shoo Dooby Doo, My Lovin' Baby. Now the B-side is strictly a duet with Bobby Lester and Harvey Fuqua. Actually, there are 9 songs that were strictly duets with Harvey Fuqua and Bobby Lester, and they were We Go Together, He Lied, New Gal, In Love, Mean Old Blues, Kiss Me Baby, The Beating of My Heart, Sweeter Than Words, and this side that I'm featuring as we go to November of 1954, Leonard Chess's Checker record label. This is a B-side by Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters, although it's really Harvey Fuqua and Bobby Lester, a song entitled So All Alone.
I'm so alone, so all alone. Baby, 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 since you've been gone, I'm so alone, baby, so all alone. Well, 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 from above, please send someone to love. I'm so alone, baby, so all alone. They say into his life some rain has got to fall. Yes, I swear. Rain keeps on falling, I won't have no heart at all. Well, please have mercy. Please have mercy. Please have mercy. Mercy on me. I'm so alone, baby, so all alone. They say into each life some rain. Yes, it's gotta fall, but I swear if the rain keeps falling, I won't have no heart at all. Well, please have mercy. Please have mercy. Please have mercy. Mercy on me. I'm so alone, baby. So all alone. So all alone. So all alone. So all alone.
Duets here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Although it says Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters, it's really Harvey Fuqua and Bobby Lester there. November 54, So All Alone, came out on Checker Records, and the A-side was the side for them, Shoo Dooby Doo. That's a great tune there, along with all the other Moonglows releases. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. It's all 50s and early 60s edition of the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, according to Marv Goldberg, Ruth Brown was the second most popular female R&B singer of the early to mid-1950s, behind Dinah Washington. I would agree with that. And in total, she had 44 releases on the Atlantic label between 1949 and 1961. And in January of 1950, she was brought into the studio to record 4 sides with the Delta Rhythm Boys, which resulted in 2 singles. The song that I'm playing initially came out on a 78 back in 1950 as her 5th single, and then it was re-released in 1954 as her 18th. So I'm playing her 18th release on the Atlantic label. This, of course, is on the Yellow and Black Atlantic label here. This is Ruth Brown and the Delta Rhythm Boys from March of 1954 with their rendition of the tune Sentimental Journey.
Gonna take a sentimental journey
Today,
Gonna set my heart at ease
on my way.
Gonna make a sentimental journey
Hey,
To renew old memories
memories.
Got my bag, I've got my reservation Spend each dime I could afford Like a child in wild anticipation
Hard to hear that all aboard 7.
That's the time we leave at 7 I'll be waiting up for heaven Counting every mile of railroad track That takes me back
Let's go.
Never thought my heart could be so yearning
Gone wrong.
Why did I decide to roam?
Going home.
Gonna make a sentimental journey
To
Sentimental journey home
gonna take a sentimental journey.
my heart at ease.
I'm gonna make a sentimental journey.
To renew old memories.
I got my bag.
Got my bag.
Got the reservation.
Spent each dime I could afford.
Just like a child in wild anticipation.
Long to hear that all aboard 7.
That's the time we leave at 7.
Oh, I'll be waiting up for heaven.
Counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so young.
Oh, why?
Why did I decide to run
From home.
Gotta take a sentimental journey. Sentimental journey home. Sentimental journey home.
Yeah, that's early Ruth Brown with the Delta Rhythm Boys, March 1954 release. Atlantic Records, their rendition of the tune Sentimental Journey. Her real name was Ruth Watson. She passed away on November 17th of 2006 at the age of 78. I think she had a stroke and heart attack that happened to her. But I remember seeing her in that movie. What was that movie with Buddy Dean and the rock and roll thing there that they used to have that... Hairspray, I think she was in. Wasn't she in the Hairspray, the first version of the Hairspray thing? I think she was. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue. Let's move into 1955. Now, this next group, they're from Wilmington, Delaware. They have this lone release on Murray Katz's Treat record label. This one's written by group member Leonard Griffin, not related to Leroy Griffin of the Nutmegs. Now, this group managed by Wilmington disc jockey Mitch Thomas, who, by the way, had a local show similar to American Bandstand, but in 1955, from 55 to 58 on local Wilmington, Delaware TV. I would have loved to see that show. It was only on for 3 years, but he was an African-American disc jockey. Imagine that show. It must have been great to see that. I would love to be dancing on that show, but anyway, I'm sure he would have played this one here. This group called the Five Diamonds. It's from March of 1955. We go to Treat Records here. The Five Diamonds with the 10 Commandments of Love.
I'm writing these commandments just to tell you why our love has unfolded because of love.
First is I love you, the second I get. And no one will ever interfere. For darling, you're the one, you're everything to me. Fourth is I miss you, oh yes I miss you so. But no one will ever tell you so. For darling, you're the one that I love. Need you in the morning, need you in the night. I need you when I'm tired. Please hold me so tight. I need you in the morning. I also need you in the night. I never can forget you, 'cause everything's alright. Memphis, I miss you, oh yes I miss you so. But no one will ever tell us so. That darling, you're the one, you're everything to me.
57, I miss you. Oh, yes, I miss you so. But no one, no one will ever tell us so. These 10 commandments has kept our love so close together.
Yeah, those are the Five Diamonds. The Five Diamonds from March of 1955. It's on Murray Katz's Treat label out of New York City. This group originally out of Wilmington, Delaware. 10 Commandments of Love is the name of that one. I remember I bought that record from a dealer. Well, actually, he wasn't a dealer. He became a dealer. He was selling out of his collection. Seymour Simon sold me that record. We'll send it out to Seymour Simon. If you tune into the Vinytreasure Show, that's your record, your disc jockey copy on the Treat label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. We are in the year 1955. Now, last week I featured a Dean Barlow solo effort on Joe Davis's JD record label, a song entitled Forever, which gave writer credit to WINS disc jockey Alan Freed. Now, the B-side credits Dean Barlow as the writer, but I bet my bottom dollar that he wrote both sides of this 45. But let's give a listen to the B-side. I like the B-side of this also. It's from May of 55. It's a solo effort by Dean Barlow on JD, although I wish there was a group backing him up on this one, but it's a cool tune. It's called Don't Leave Me, Baby.
Well, don't leave me, baby. Baby, please don't go. Well, don't leave me, baby. Baby, please don't go. I've had good loving, but never like yours before. Well, don't leave me, baby. Come on home to stay. Well, don't leave me, baby. Come on home to stay. I've been so blue ever since you went away. Well, crawled before, but never like this. Come on back and give me a little kiss. I gave you some hair, money in the bank, shoes on your feet and put clothes upon your back. Well, don't leave me, baby. Come on home to stay. I've been so blue ever since you went away. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she walked. She walked. She walked. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she walked. She walked. She walked well. Please don't go. Well, don't leave me, baby. Baby, please don't go. I've had good loving, but never like yours before. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right out. Well, she really, really walked. She walked right in. Well, she walked well.
Yeah, Warren, got to agree with you. That's a cool rockin' tune, actually, by Dean Barlow. Dean Barlow, too bad there wasn't a vocal group behind him on that one. May 1955, that's a B-side there on Joe Davis's JD record label. Don't Leave Me, Baby! Exclamation point is the name of that one. It's the B-side of his second of 3 solo efforts on JD Records. He also recorded on the Joe Davis label, had 3 more releases on that one. I have them all, and we'll feature them here on future Vinytreasure shows. goes. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1955, and on last week's Vinytreasure Show, I paid tribute to the late Dexter Tisby of the Penguins. I played the B-side of their first release on the Mercury label. It was called Don't Do It, and he was doing lead on that. Let's give a listen to the intended A-side here. It features Cleve Duncan on lead on this side. It's from April of 1955. We go to Mercury Records. This is the first release on Mercury for the Penguins, a song entitled Be Mine or Be a Fool.
Be mine, wow, or be a fool. Be the girl of my dreams, or be a fool. Be mine, wow, or be a fool. Be the girl of my dreams, or be a fool. I want a girl to really love me, to do the things she should do. A girl who treats me right. That's the girl for me. Oh, be mine. Or be a fool. Be the girl of my dreams, or be a fool. I want a girl who really, really loves me, to do the things she can do. I want a girl to treat me right. There's the girl for me. Be mine, or be a fool. Be the girl of my dreams, or be a fool. Be a fool.
That's a nice side there. Great tune there by the Penguins. A shame they never really found success with Mercury Records, a big company like that. They felt they were getting the shaft from Dootsy Williams with their Earth Angel, although that one reminiscent of Earth Angel for sure, but a great sound there that you like to hear. Pleasant to the ears for sure. The Penguins there, April 1955 on Mercury. That's their first release, the A-side of their first release. Be Mine or Be a Fool features Cleve Duncan on lead. Now, the writer credit here is given to Marlene Williams. He was the wife of Penguins baritone Curtis Williams. To me, I couldn't tell I can tell the difference now between Cleve Duncan and also Curtis Williams, because Curtis Williams, I think, does lead on Devil That I See, another great record I like, and also My Troubles Are Not at End. That's another great record that the Penguins do on the Mercury label. Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Now, here's a request for Bopper Boy Warren as we go to Morty Shad's Harlem label out of New York City. The artist and group is called Bobby Sue and Her Freeloaders, and it mentions on the label that the vocal background is by the Empires. The Empires also recorded on the New York Harlem label. They had two releases. prior to this, just prior to this, Corn Whiskey was one, and Magic Mirror, a great record that they do. But they also backed up Lightning Jr. on one release, and they also backed up this request, this artist, a request by Warren. We go back to May of 1955 for Bobby Sue and her Freeloaders with the Empires backing her up on Harlem Records. The song is called It Takes a Lot of Love.
It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love, lot of love. It takes a lot of love to do that. Once I had me a lover, he was so nice and fine. Every time he breathed, he crept in my face. It just smelled like a natural wine. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love, lot of love. It takes a lot of love to do that. He leaves early in the morning, and he comes back to break of day. He comes in knocking out and loaded, and he never have a word to say. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love, lot of love. It takes a lot of love to do that. Why do I have to worry what everybody do or say? As long as this man treats me nice and kind, I'll just love him any old way. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love, lot of love. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love, lot of love, lot of love. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love to do that. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love.
From May 1955, request for Bopper Boy Warren, currently in both of Johnny G's chat rooms. I have a YouTube chat room for you listeners. Also have a Top Shelf Oldies chat room. That one there from May of 55. Bobby Sue and her Freeloaders. It takes a lot of love. Yes, it does. That one there on Morty Shad's Harlem label out of New York City. And the Empire's backing her up on that one there. And I think I have every record on the Empire label. No, on the Harlem label. The Harlem label out of New York City. There's also a Texas Harlem label. We got some good records, some cool group sides on that label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. We move into the year 1956. Now, on last week's show, I featured a group called the Parakeets. I played the B-side of their first of two they released on Thomas Robinson's Atlas label. The song was called The Rain Starts to Fall. But let's flip it over, give a listen to the intended A-side before this one goes back down in the No Humidity basement. This one features Preston Fields and Leroy Williams on this one, and Petrie Martin, who wrote the song, is also on the bridge. So let's give it a spin here. This is the intended A-side from April 56. They're called the Parakeets on Atlas. It's called I Have a Love.
Luigi, wow, 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 do-wop, do-wop, wow. Luigi, wow, 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 do-wop, do-wop, wow. Luigi, I have love, do-wop, do-wop, do-wop. Luigi, I have love.
That's the first of two for the Parakeets on Thomas Robinson's Atlas label. April 1956 released the Parakeets with I Have a Love. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue. We are in the year 1956. Let's continue with flip sides from last week. Actually, I played the other side of this on a 78 last week by a group called The Leaders. They were out of Newport News, Virginia. It was on Phil Rose's Glory label. And I played their rendition of the tune Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine. The lead singer on that side was Harry Burton. He was doing lead on that. Now, the flip features another lead. His name is Edward Alston, and he also wrote the tune. Let's give it a spin here from May of 56. They're called The Leaders. This one on the Glory label, the same label that the Four Fellows had their hit Soldier Boy. This one is by The Leaders. It's called Lovers. B-sides here on the Vinytreasure Show. Those are The Leaders. The Leaders from May 1956. That's the flip side to Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine, song entitled Lovers. It's on the Glory record label. Now, this group attended the Huntington High School together with another group that I've been featuring from Newport News, Virginia, that being the Chateaus. And then two members of The Leaders, Nelson Shields and Ronald Judge, they would form a group called the Corvairs that recorded on the Comet label in 1961. You may know their tune called True True Love. Now, this group had releases that Comet group had also releases on Leopard and United Artists as the West Siders, and later in 1966, the Corvairs on the Columbia label. But anyway, we just heard The Leaders there with Lovers. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1956. This next group, they're from Cincinnati, Ohio. They first recorded for Herman Lubinsky's Savoy Records. They were in Newark, New Jersey. In this, they began in 1954. They recorded three sides for Savoy as Luther, Bond, and the Emeralds. Then, because of Luther's top billing, the Emeralds kind of got upset about that, and they said, "That's it, we're leaving. You're giving him top billing, we're out of here." So the Emeralds left, and they formed their own group, called themselves the Victorials. They have a cool tune on Imperial called I Get That Feeling. But then Luther decided to form a new group of Emeralds, and he was signed to Sid Nathan's Federal label. This was in 1956. Two releases resulted. This is the First. A tune written by the lead Luther Bond. This one from September 1956. Give a listen to Luther Bond and the Emeralds on Federal, a song entitled I Cry.
When the moon goes up and the sun goes down and all the world is still and you can't be found, well, I cry, I lie, yes, I cry, I lie, ooh, on a cool summer night when the breeze is delight, and I gaze from my window, and I could be holding you tight, but I cry, yes, I cry,
That's the first of two for Luther Bond and the Emeralds on Sid Nathan's Federal record label. Song entitled I Cry is the name of that one. And then in 1959, they would have two more on the Showboat record label. One is Gold Will Never Do, which is a very common record, but their other one is a good tune. I forget the name of it. Daryl, you have to help me out with that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45s. Let's continue here. We move into 1957 now. Now, last week I played a request for my number one listener over in California. That's Mady Campboy. We say hello to her. She's in the YouTube chat room. Now, she requested the Vanguards on Ivy. They do a cool tune, a song called Moonlight. But the B-side's a nice jump tune. So for you collectors out there that collect like Johnny G, the true original on this one, on the Ivy label, mentions the band leader B.B. Butler and his orchestra. So that's not on the reissue second press. It's on the original. So check your originals for that. But it's a cool B-side here. We go to November of 57. These are the Vanguards on Ivy with their tune. It's called I'm Movin'.
Well, I'm moving, I'm traveling from town to town. Well, I'm moving from town to town. And whoa, so long, baby, just now put you down. Whoa, so long, baby, don't you cry for me. So long, so long, baby, don't cry for me. Because I'll be on that choo-choo, yes, sirree. I'm scared, getting all over the land. Well, I'm scared,
That's the only release there for a group called the Vanguards. The Vanguards on, what did I say there? On Ed Portnoy's and Stan Feldman's Ivy label out of New York City, November 1957. The Vanguards there with I'm Moving. Yes, Warren, I wonder why those early releases on the Ivy label are yellow. They should be green. You would figure green. And then they changed the logo there with a few ivy leaves there. Anyway, John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Here we are in the year 1957 as we count down the music chronologically here. Let's stay with the fabulous flip sides. Now, last week I featured a group called the Classics. The Classics out of California on Leon Renee's Class label. And I played the up-tempo side, Gosh, But This Is Love was the name of that one. That was the up-tempo B-side, but this is the intended A-side. It's an excellent ballad from December of 57. Let's give it a spin. The Classics on Class. It's called If Only the Sky Was a Mirror.
Would be over and my love would grow and grow if only the sky was a mirror.
My tears would turn to laughter, my heart would beat again. It would feel like magic to see your face again.
I know I'll never hold you, but I can just pretend. If only the sky was a mirror. I don't want a new love, true love or nothing at all. Just give me my whole love, or the sky above to see.
Moon and I will meet each night. The stars come out to see. The blues and I are still old friends and wink their eyes at me.
And as I count them one by one, I pray that I may see her. If only the sky was a mirror. As I count them one by one, I pray that I may see her.
If only the sky
Was a mirror.
A group called the Classics. The Classics on Leon Renee's Class label. And that's a cool tune. December 1957. If Only the Sky Was a Mirror. It was a mirror today. It was a really nice day here in New York City. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice too. Barbara wants to go to the pool. I don't know if it's pool weather yet. And I don't know if I'm ready to show off the skinny Johnny G, although I'll be on this diet one more week. I am ending Friday, next Friday. I have the dietitian on Tuesday. I want to know what I need to do for when I end it on Friday, because I got to like transition up to regular food. So that will be interesting. But I'm down 77 pounds so far. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Let's stay in California with a request for Bopper Boy Warren. Now, the group is out of Los Angeles, California. They were named after a missile developed by the U.S. Air Force. It was called the Titan missile, and they were called the Titans. They had 4 releases on Art Roop's specialty label. Now, Warren requested their first release. It features the second tenor and baritone of the group, Curtis McNair, on lead. Let's go to October of 1957 by request for Warren. These are the Titans on specialty and a song called Sweet Peach.
Look at them peaches, sweet peach. Look at them peaches, sweet peach.
The sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Hey, sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Though it's way beyond my reach, I know I'm gonna get that peach. Sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Hey, cheeks are soft and rosy as can be. Cheeks are soft and rosy as can be. Though it's way beyond my reach, I know I'm gonna get that peach. Sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. I can't wait, hold it close, feel its velvet touch. Never thought that I could ever want a peach so much. I'm gonna try and shake that tree. Hey, till I get that peach to fall for me. If it doesn't fall, I'll climb that tree and make that sweet peach mine. Sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. I can't wait, hold it close, feel its velvet touch. Never thought that I could ever want a peach so much. I'm gonna try and shake that tree. Hey, till I get that peach to fall for me. If it doesn't fall, I'll climb that tree and make that sweet peach mine. Sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Hey, sweetest peaches, highest on the tree. Hey, sweetest peaches, highest on the tree.
By request for Bopper Boy Warren there. Those are the Titans. October 1957 release, Art Roop's specialty label. That's their first release on the specialty label, song entitled Sweet Peach. They had earlier releases, first on the Vital label, and later on releases came out on Class. What is that song that they do on Class? There's an up-tempo side that they do that I really like. No Time, which is a pretty cool up-tempo tune. They also have some, I think at least one, if not more, on the Fidelity label. I have all those records. Yes, I do. Johnny G here, babbling on as we continue here. We are in the year 1957. Now, earlier I played a release by Tony Middleton and the Willows on George Golner's Gone label, the October 57 release, Let's Fall in Love. Now, earlier in 57, they recorded their third release on Morty Craft's Melba label, and last week I played the A-side, the up-tempo side. It was called Little Darlin', and this week we're going to give a listen to the B-side, and the B-side here, written by Neil Sedaka and Howie Greenfield. They wrote this tune for the Willows, Tony Middleton on lead. This is a B-side from February 57, the Willows on Melba. The song is called My Angel.
Angels up above, tell me who I love.
My angel, heavenly one, I love you. Till by
of you. My heart is all aglow. My angel, ah, blessed day I found you. I'll keep my arms around you. I'll never let you go. Each day will be paradise with the kiss you gave. I swear I'll always love you for as long as I may live, my angel. High on a cloud, I'm coasting, singing out loud and toasting. My thanks to the heavens above, above. They sent me an angel to love.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Gotta say hi to B-side, currently in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room there. But those are the Willows. The B-side to Little Darlin', that song called My Angel, written by Neil Sedaka, Howie Greenfield. Nice tune there from February 1957. That's their third release on Morty Craft's Melba record label. As we continue here, we are in the year 1957. How about a girl group out of Philadelphia, PA? And I love both sides of this 45. It's on K. Williams Kaiser record label. K. Williams was a Philadelphia disc jockey that got involved in the music business. He owned the Kaiser label, and this is with Howard Biggs and his orchestra. They're called the Edwards Sisters. This is the intended A-side. We go to March of 1957, the Edwards Sisters on Kaiser. Their tune is called Don't Make Me Cry Again.
Without a love
Girl group sounds here on the Vinytreasure Show. They're out of Philadelphia. They're called the Edwards Sisters. March 1957 release on the Kaiser label. K. Williams Kaiser record label. Don't Make Me Cry Again is the name of that one. They have another release on the Junior label, also out of Philadelphia. Junior Records, the same label that the original version of Get a Job by the Silhouettes came out of, but that is the better 45 right there. Both sides excellent on the the Edwards Sisters. As Johnny G babbles on here, let's continue. Let's move it to 1958. This is another request for Bopper Boy Warren. Now, in 1956, a duo from Columbus, Ohio, recorded as the Tibbs Brothers. They had one release on the Atco label. It was called I'm Going Crazy. Now, the brothers' real names were Kenneth and Andrew Grayson, and both had solo efforts, believe it or not, in the late 40s. Now, Andrew Tibbs and was backed up by the Dozier Boys back in, I think, the late 40s on the Aristocrat label. Now, Warren requested a side by Kenneth Tibbs as we go to Sid Nathan's Federal label. This one from August of 58. By request for Warren, Kenneth Tibbs on Federal. I think there's a full vocal group backing him up on this. It's called Darling, I Want Your Love.
Lonely feeling is more than I can bear.
More than I can bear.
Darling, I want your love, need you, yeah, I do. I get so happy. Each time I see you, give me your love, and I'll be true.
Darling, I'll be true.
Darling, I want your love, need you, yeah. I do. Only you can fill my heart with ecstasy, my dear. Heaven knows I love you so much. That's why I want you near. Hold me in your loving arms, darling. I want your love, need you, yeah, I do.
By request for Bopper Boy Warren, that is Kenneth Tibbs. Kenneth Tibbs, one half of the Tibbs Brothers, August 1958. Darling, I Want Your Love. That one there, Sid Nathan's Federal record label. As we continue here on the Vinytreasure Show, and let's continue with the requests. Here's one for California listener Métis Campboy. Great girl group sound. Was looking for my Pink Decca Mint promo on this, but I was able to find my first copy of this really isn't in very good condition. I apologize in advance for the pops and clicks you're going to hear on this, because it just plays okay. And of course, when you're dealing with the Count, Bob Ellis, of Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. You know, he's got a lot of whipped records, and you got to whittle him down, because I bought this way back in the early 1980s before I was able to get a nice copy of this. But the song was recorded on March 18th of 1958, but Decca held it up for 6 months for some reason before they released it. And listen closely to the melody on this one. It's very similar to the Cadillacs' Josie release of Gloria. So by request for Métis Camp Boy, here are the Gale Tones from September 58, the Gale Tones on the Decca label, and their tune, it's called Lover Boy. Girl group sounds here on the Vinyltreasure Show. That one there called the Gale Tones by request for listener Métis Campboy listening over in California. She's in the YouTube chat room there. You can say hello to Métis. The Gale Tones, September 58, Lover Boy is the name of that one on the Decca record label, sounding a lot like Gloria by the Cadillacs. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We do it from 10 to midnight every Saturday right here on Top Shelf Oldies, the Vinyltreasure Show. As we continue, we are in the year 1958, and let's stay in the same month and year of September 58. That is my birth month, September 3rd of 58. But this group is from Harlem, New York, initially recorded as the Dovers on Apollo Records with lead singer Miriam Great, but then they changed their name to the Vocal Tones. They had 4 releases on Apollo Records, and then in 1957 they signed with George Goldner on one of his one-off labels with a release on the Juanita label. I think that was named after one of George Goldner's daughters, Juanita Records. But the group recorded 5 tracks for George Goldner, but only 2 were released. And this record originally came out on Goldner's Cindy label. I've never seen it on the Cindy label from 1957. That's probably a true rarity, but I have it on the Juanita label. It features Bobby Johnson on lead. We go to September of 58 for the Vocal Tones on Juanita. It's called Walkin' with My Baby.
Boom 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 boom. Dum dum de doo, dum dum de doo, dum 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 de doo. Oh, de dum de doo, 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 dum de doo. Oh, dum 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 de doo. I was walking with my baby last night. We started talking.
was walking with my baby last night. We started hugging and kissing and I held her tight. As she held me close to her, it felt like paradise. Here's what you whispered to me. Oh, now my loving baby was meant just for you. And if you leave me, what shall I do? I was walking with my baby last night. We started talking about the love that he had for me. As I held her in my arms, I captured all her charms. Here's what she said to me. Hey! Now my loving baby was meant just for you. And if you leave me, what shall I do? I was walking with my baby last night. We started talking about the love that she had for me. As I held her in my arms, I captured all her charm. Here's what she said to me.
September 58 release there for the vocal tones. Bobby Johnson on lead for that one. George Golder's Juanita label. That originally came out on the Cindy label. I've never, ever seen a copy of that Cindy release, but I have on the Juanita label, Walking With My Baby, because I own it. Yes, I do. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue, and we are in the year 1958. Up next, a guitarist, a vocalist, but first a guitarist. But this artist had 4 releases on Roger Sherman's Dart label, Dart Records out of Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Now, his first couple of releases were cool rockin' instrumentals, but this is his second release on the Dart label. Has some unnamed vocal group backing him up, and it's a song he co-wrote. It's from August of 58. His name is Donnie Boyd. Donnie Boyd on Dart Records. The name of this one is called With All My Love.
My dearest darling, my heart is writing you to tell you how true my love is for you. It keeps repeating all these words, with all my love for you. My dearest darling, our love was meant to be. I pray the Lord it'll last for eternity. My heart's repeating all these words, with all my love for you. Now someday, side by side, we'll make our vows together. And when we're through, and I kiss you, then I'll know you're mine, my darling, forever. My dearest darling, I love only you. I'm writing our future the way you want me to, and I'll close it with these words, with all my love for you.
Sounds of 1958 here on the Vinytreasure Show. Donnie Boyd and a group there on the Dart label. It's out of Fair Lawn, New Jersey. August 1958 release, Donny Boyd with a song called With All My Love. He has other releases too on the Galliant label, the Twin Star label, the Laurel label, and the Laurie label, believe it or not, as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, and we stay in the year 1958 for this group out of Brooklyn, New York. They all attended Lafayette High School and auditioned for Ted Mack's Amateur Hour back in 1958, and he asked the guys what they wanted to achieve most, and they said that they wanted to be on stage at an Alan Freed show. And when Alan Freed heard that, he came out and asked them to be part of his shows at the Brooklyn Paramount or wherever it was back in 1958. And it was actually Freed that introduced the group to Al Silver of Ember Records. And the result was this lone release on Ember Records from November of 1958. They're called the Bop Tones. It features Nick Lampiello on lead. We go to Ember Records for this. Their tune is called I Had a Love. November 58 release there for the Bop Tones. That's their only release on the Ember label. Came out on the Ember label. I Had a Love is the name of that one. There are a couple clips of them. They were on the Ted Mack Amateur Hour twice. I think they did At My Front Door, and I forget the other side, but that is, they were okay on that show, but that song's pretty nice by the Bop Tones. Johnny G here, continuing here on the Vinyltreasure Show. We are in the year 1958, and this is another request for a California listener. Métis Campboy requested this group out of Detroit, Michigan on Devorah Brown's High Q label. They're called the El Capris. Now, not to be confused with the El Capris out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that recorded on the Bullseye and the Phoebe labels. Now, Métis requested a group on High Q. Now, she requested the A side of the tune. It features Sam Crumby on lead. As we are in the year 1958, by request for Métis, we go to High Q Records for the El Capris and their tune called Girl of Mine.
Oh,
of Detroit, Michigan there by request for Matey Campboy. Those are the El Capris 1958 release. Girl of Mine is the name of that one on Dora Brown's High Q record label. Sam Crumby on lead for that one. Now, you collectors out there, first press has got to be on that blue High Q label. If yours is on a yellow, I think yellow with green print maybe, that is the second press of that record, because that record, Times Square Records maybe had a lot to do with the reissue of that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these cool rock and roll, R&B ballads and up-tempos here as we continue here. Now let's continue with the flip sides. Now, last week I featured the Elegance from Staten Island, New York. Their follow-up to Little Star was a song called Please Believe Me. Now, both sides of that record were played regionally in different areas. And in the early 1970s here on Oldie Radio, you would hear both sides of this record for sure. Now, it features Vito Pacone on lead. Now, this side charted regionally. This was a big number 11 record in Oakland, California on KWBR. This was from September 58. We flip over Please Believe Me by the Elegance on the Apt label and listen to their tune, a song entitled Good Night.
Whoa, whoa, good night, my love, until tomorrow then. Good night, my love, until tomorrow when I hold you in my arms. Whoa, good night, whoa, sweetheart, I had so much fun. Good night, sweetheart, too bad the night is done. So until tomorrow night, whoa, good night, my love, good night. When you hold my hand each night at the dawn, want to run and when we kiss for moments on your porch, my heart, my love, light up like a torch. Good night, my love, it's time to bid farewell. Good night, my love, this night sure swell. So until tomorrow night, whoa, good night, my
That's the second of three for Vito and the Elegance on the Apt record label. September 58 release. The Elegance with Good Night. There's still Vito Pacone is still performing out there and singing his tunes. Yes, he is. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are spinning records out of the year. We're in the 1958 section. And I have another request to fill for California listener Matey Campboy. It's on Julius Dixon's Timely label. Now, Matey requested a song on specifically on Slim Rose's Times Square Records by a group called the Chanels, Chanells, if you check that Times Square release. And the song was called Give Me a Chance, but if you listen very closely to that recording, it's the exact same song of the 45 that I am going to play for Matey. But what's different with the Times Square release is it has an added falsetto voice, which sounds like Earl Lewis. It does sound like Earl Lewis, but according to a website, I found this website on the internet. It was called Off the Wall, a collector's memories of Times Square Records. there was a footnote that was mentioned that Slim Rose played this the Times Square release on his radio show with an implication that the recording was actually by this group, the Pharaohtones, on the Timely label. And it is a very rare record on the original, on the Timely label for sure. But let's give a listen to this one. We're going to send it out to Matey Campoy. Tell me, Matey, if it sounds the same, but without the high falsetto of Earl Lewis, because I'm saying that was added. This is the original here from 58. The Pharaohtones on Timely. It's called parentheses, Give Me a, close parentheses, Chance.
Give me a chance, darling.
Rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. Those are the Pharaohtones. That's the Pharaohtones on the Timely label from 1958. Give Me a Chance is the name of that one. And the Times Square release has the same exact song with an added falsetto. Who that falsetto is sounds like Earl Lewis, but nobody can really verify if that is. If anybody sees Earl Lewis, if they could ask him that would be interesting to ask Earl Lewis if that is him singing to that record. Maybe it is. Who knows? Because you would think they're not going to really drown out that lead vocal on there, which if you listen to that Times Square release, it's on YouTube. You can check it out. You will hear a strong falsetto on that. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We move into 1959, and let's head back to California for this vocal group quartet. Two members of this group were previously members of the Barons that recorded for Imperial Records, that being George Bonney and Andrew Fisher, but they had 3 releases on the Warner Brothers record label. This is the B-side to their third, with the big sound of Don Rauch and his orchestra here on this one. This one from December 59. Give a listen to the Marquis. The Marquis on Warner Brothers. It's called Don't Be Mean, Geraldine.
Stop.
I hit my brakes and couldn't stop.
Geraldine, Geraldine, you're the meanest girl I've seen.
Those are the Marquis from December 59, their third release on the Warner Brothers record banner. Don't Be Mean, Geraldine is the name of that one. Now, after this release, they would sign with the California Joanne label. They do That's the Way I Feel is the one I really like by the Marquis on the Joanne record label from 1960s. We continue here on the Vinytreasure Show. We are in the year of 1959. Going to send this next tune out to my buddy George Tompkins as we head back to Detroit, Michigan to Robert West's Flick label. This is the only release for this artist by the name of Jimmy Von Carl, and it mentions on the label that he's accompanied by the June Voices, who were made up of Robert Bateman, Brian Holland, Sonny Sanders, and Ramona Lyles Gordy, who was Berry Gordy's ex-wife. I don't know, ex-wife at the time or later, I don't know, but they also were known as the Raber Voices. It's with Sax Carey and his orchestra. Let's go to May of 1959, Robert West Flick Records out of Detroit, Michigan, for Jimmy Von Carl and his tune. It's called This Doesn't Seem Real.
When your love ceased to be, I cried, looking helplessly, and when you laughed goodbye, I said with a smile, this doesn't seem real. Oh no, oh no. This must be a dream. How real did our love seem? And I try not to breathe, but still I can't believe this doesn't seem real. Oh, seem real. Does it seem real? Time seems an eternity since you've gone, since you've gone, since you've gone, since you've gone. Your way. Return, I miss you so, I miss you so. Please come back and stay. Oh, this must be a dream. How real did our love seem? And I'll dream, and I'll dream, and I'll dream, and I'll dream, and I'll dream.
As Johnny G loses his mind here. That's on the Flick record label out of Detroit, Michigan. That's the same label that the original version of You're So Fine by the Falcons came out on the Flick label. But that's Jimmy Von Carl with the June Voices, a.k.a. the Raber Voices, their May 1959 release. This Doesn't Seem Real is the name of that one. Well, hopefully it is real with all the pops and scratches. Real 45s that Johnny G features here every Saturday from 10 to midnight. Let's continue here. And this next singer goes back to the late 40s, recording for the King label originally. He started out as a pianist. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. Now I have 45s by him on the States label from 1953 with his group called the Doves. He also recorded on labels like Kit, Nasco, Excello, and this label, which is called Frantic Records, which is out of Louisville, Kentucky, as we are in the year 1959. His name is Cliff Butler, and I guess similar to his first group called the Doves, this group is called the Lovers, and it's on Frantic Records. Let's give it a spin, a song entitled I Can't Believe.
I can't believe you're falling in love with me. No, no, no. I can't believe I'm the only one that you see. No, no, no. Please, darling, won't you hear my plea? Hear my plea. How many times have you promised to be true? And how many times have you broken my heart in two? This time, darling, please don't make me blue. Don't make me blue. The kind of love you've given me, I never had before. And when they say you're cheating, I pace across the floor, and if you ever leave me, I don't know what I'd do. My heart is yours to keep or break. I've given it all to you. I can't believe you're falling in love with me. I can't believe I'm the only one that you see. Please, darling, won't you hear my plea? I can't believe you're falling in love with me. I can't believe I'm the only one that you see. Please, darling, won't you hear my plea? A little baby, come on and hear my plea. Hear my plea.
Scratches and all. That one there from 1959 on the Frantic label. Frantic Records out of Louisville, Kentucky. Cliff Butler and the Lovers on that one. I Can't Believe is the name of that one. He had other releases on the USA and the Favorite label. And unfortunate that he passed away January 13th, 1982 at the age of 60. Passed away from cancer. I remember getting that record. Joe Ronco, a dealer and collector dealer, no longer with us, sold me that record a long, long time ago. As we continue here on the Vinytreasure Show, this is the last 45 from the 50s from 1959, and it's another request for Métis Campboy listening in California. And I played the Pharaoh tones that, if you have the Timely record, sounds like Earl Lewis and the Channels on that one. But this record definitely sounds like the Channels. It's a great tune also. It's on Bob Thiel and Steve Allen's Hanover label out of New York City, and it's the only release for this group. They're known as the Fluorescence. So by request for Métis, this one from March of 59, Hanover Records, the Fluorescence with The Facts of Love.
The facts of love. Your
By request for Matey Camp Boy. Oh, listening over in California. That's a cool tune for the Fluorescence from March of '59 on Hanover Records, The Facts of Love. Now, Billboard rated this only 1 star. 1 star in their April 6, '59 edition. They rated the flip side, the up-tempo, 3 stars. Up-tempo's not bad, but I prefer the ballad on that one there. Thanks for that request, matey. As we continue here on the Vinytreasure Show, let's move into 1960 now. Into 1960 with a B-side for the biggest record on Ruth Christie's Tide label. And when you say that your biggest record makes it up to 96 on Cashbox and 90 to Billboard, what are you doing wrong if you're doing anything? Maybe it should have been bigger, but it was a bigger record, a number 12 record, well, not this side, but the other side on KFXM in San Bernardino, California. That record was called Mojo Workout Dance. That was the A side for this artist, originally from Norfolk, Virginia, but I'm not going to play that side. I'm playing the B side, which includes a vocal group. Now, his real name is Julian Bright, but he recorded as Larry Bright. And it's a song that he wrote, this one from February of 1960. Give a listen to Larry Bright on the Tide label, Ruth Christie's Tide Records, as we flip over Mojo Workout Dance. For this tune, one that my aunt liked when I found this record, she loved this 45. Let's give it a spin here. Larry Bright with I'll Change My Ways.
I'll change my ways. I'll change my ways. Quit running round. I promise, darling, to settle down. Tell me you'll be my girl. Oh, no more parties, staying out late. When we go out, you'll be my day. Oh, tell me you'll be my girl. Just tell me that you love me, and I'll change my ways. Just walk with me and hold my hand. You wish will be my command. I'll change my ways. Quit running round. I promise, darling, to settle down. Tell me you'll be my girl. I'll change my way.
That record all worth 10 cents. That's what I paid for that 45. Larry Bright and the group, February 1960 release. A song entitled I'll Change My Ways on Ruth Christie's Tide record label out of Los Angeles, California. That's the B-side of the 45. We are now in Vinytreasure Overtime as we continue here. Finally located this next request for listener Chuck Staton. Thank you for your email, Chuck. Now, this group is out of Campbell, Ohio. They were named after a failed automobile manufactured by the Ford Motor Company, but they did have a song that was a big success for them. Not originally when it came out in 1958 on the dub label, but when it came out the second time around. It was a hit in 61 on High Weiss's Twin record label. The song was called Ramalama Ding Dong. Now, later in 1961, Chuck requested their release on the Dot label. This one charted regionally, number 44 on WHOT in Youngstown, Ohio. It was written by the lead singer. His name is George Jones Jr. So by request for Chuck Staton, this one from December 61, they're called the Etzels. It's on the Dot label, and their tune is called My Whispering Heart.
Dub and dub and dub and dub dub let dub.
My whispering heart is telling on you, telling all the things that you say or do. I've always wanted you, but my heart tells me you're not true. I should have known from the start, thanks to my whispering heart. Well, I've always been thankful, I've always been kind. I can't get you out of my mind. My whispering heart, yes, has told me what to do. Find myself a true love, forget all about you. Yeah, I should have known from the start, thanks to my whispering heart. My whispering heart, thanks to my whispering heart. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I always cringe when I play my styrenes. I'm like, am I starting to wear these out? You collectors out there, you should never play styrene records like twice in a row. You got to wait till they cool down on the styrene. There is a lot of pressure from that needle that heats up those grooves, which is why they get white. And then they start melting. It actually melts the styrene. It really does. But anyway, that's a cool tune going out to Chuck Staton, December 61. The Etzels on Dot Records with My Whispering Heart. George Jones wrote the tune. He's on lead, and they have other releases on many different labels: Roulette, Tammy, Capitol, Ember, and others. As we continue here, we are in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Have another request, a double spin request for Chuck Staton for this group out of Philadelphia. They recorded 2 on Carmen Rizzo's CR label. Now, Chuck requested both sides of this 45. We're going to listen to the intended B-side of the record tonight, and it's their first. It's an excellent ballad. It features a 16-year-old Cal Tully on lead, and I'm featuring the West Coast Monarch Press, which is on a purple label. Has a little bit of a different label style. I'll show it to you guys again in the a video chat room there. But going out to Chuck Staton, this one from October 61. They're called the Lavenders. The Lavenders on CR Records with their tune called Angel.
Angel.
Ira West for Chuck Staton there. The Lavenders, Cal Tully on lead, October 61 release. That's the first of two on the CR record label. Their tune called Angel. I have a West Coast press. That's a vinyl press. Plays with a little bit of static there on that. I think I won that in a John Tefteller auction. But all my other CRs are white promos. I don't even know what the East Coast stock copies are supposed to look like. Maybe they're just white labels. I don't know. But anyway, I'll show it to you guys in the YouTube chat again as we continue here. We are in the year 1961. This next artist, born in Kinder, Louisiana, has so many great recordings through the years. All different styles: blues, rockers, R&B, ballads, up-tempos, some with vocal groups, some without. But I like this one that he did on Reuben Cherry's Home of the Blues label, which is out of Memphis, Tennessee. And I own multiple. There is a reason why I own multiple copies of this record. And it appears that for some reason there is some kind of pressing plant defect with the lead-in groove of the B-side of the record. And it really gets me up in arms because I can't get it to play right. No matter what I try, I can't get this record to play right in the beginning. It's almost like it skips. Even if I raise the tone arm weight, it still skips. Although this one has a little bit of an edge warp that helps it along, I guess. But anyway, this is my cleanest copy of the record. But if you have this record, anybody, check your B side. It doesn't do it on the A side. It does it on the B side of this Home of the Blues record. It's from January 61. It's by Roy Brown, and it's Home of the Blues number 115. And it's a song he co-wrote with the label owner. Let's give it a spin. Roy Brown on Home of the Blues, a song entitled Sugar Baby. Now listen to the skip in the beginning. Baby. Try it again.
And oh, how I love you, baby. I'll be so happy on our wedding day. Our wedding day. Oh, baby. Lovely, lovely, lovely sugar baby. Bells will be ringing on our wedding day. Our wedding day. I remember a long time ago when I was an itty bitty boy. I dreamed of a lovely, lovely lady. And now you come along and brought to me joy, my sugar baby. Lovable, lovable, lovable sugar baby. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, baby. Bells will be ringing on our wedding day. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
January 61 release there. Roy Brown and an unmentioned group on the Home of the Blues label out of Memphis, Tennessee. Sugar Baby is the name of that one. I have this on a white promo. The white promo skips. The other one's in varying condition skips, and I can't get it out. I don't know what it is. The A side of this is a song called Oh So Wonderful. It's actually a duet with Roy Brown and Mamie Dell. Anyway, Johnny G's here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime as we continue here. We are in the year 1961. How about a little bit of Miss Darlene Love? She was a member of a group called The Blossoms, originally started back in the late 50s, first as the Dreamers on the Flip label, but then I think Richard Berry, they recorded for Richard Berry, but then when they signed with the Capitol Records, they became the Blossoms in 57. Here's a release in 61 when they were a trio. They were signed to Gene Autry's Challenge label, and this is the B-side to their second of three on the Challenge label, and they consisted of Fanita James, Gloria Jones, and the lead singer on this, Miss Darlene Love. We go to September of 61, The Blossoms on Challenge. It's called Write Me a Letter. On style.
Write me a letter, wop, wop. Send me a line, make me feel better, wop, wop. Say you're still mine. Seems like a lifetime. Have you forgotten me? Have you forgotten? I still remember when you went away. My heart was breaking when you left that day. You said you'd write me to dry my lonely tears. I know you're having so much fun, dances, parties, and such. Remember, darling, I'm the one who's waiting to feel your tender touch. Write me a letter, send me a line, make me feel better. Say you're still mine. I want you near me. I miss you so much. So much. I miss you so much. So much. I miss you so much, babe. So much.
September 61 release for The Blossoms, their Darlene Love on lead. Write Me a Letter is the name of that one on Gene Autry's Challenge record label on Styrene. I wonder if the promos might be vinyl. You know, the promos that have the dark stock-looking labels. And you can sometimes luck out with some of those, but most of them, I think, are Styrene, unfortunately. She should do that in concert if she has a chance. That's a great tune by The Blossoms. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We are in the year 1961. Now, last week I played a request for Chuck Staton by the Sinceres on the Ritchie label out of Wilmington, Delaware. I played the True First Press on Vince Rago's Ritchie label. It's without the Distributed by Roulette Records on the label. It's really hard to find that one, the true original press on that. And the A-side was called Please Don't Cheat on Me. The B-side, I feel, is equally as good. So we're going to send this one out to Ron and Dorothy listening in Minnesota, as they have fond memories listening to this type of music back in Wilmington, Delaware, back in the early 60s. Let's go to July of 61. The Sinceres on Ritchie, on the original Ritchie label without the Distributed by Roulette, with their tune called If You Should Leave Me.
If you should leave me,
That's on Vince Rago's Ritchie label. Some nice sides on the Ritchie label. The Sinceres from July 61, If You Should Leave Me. That's the B-side. The A-side, Please Don't Cheat on Me. Johnny G's here in Vinytreasure Overtime. We are moving into 1962. Now, last week I played a request for Métis Campboy by the Rockefellers on the Southern Sound label, a song entitled Dear Someone. It was written by Freddie Faulkner. He was originally a member of the Illusions and possibly a member of this group. I really couldn't tell, but the publisher I just noticed is Little Debbie Publishing, which is a label that he recorded on with the Illusions, a rare record, in fact, too, on Little Debbie by the Illusions. But let's give a listen to the intended A-side of this 45 by the Rockefellers. This one from April 62. It's on Southern Sound Records, the Rockefellers. It's called, the true title is called Strike It Rich, parentheses, Zoom to the Top of the World.
Until I satisfy my soul. But baby, if you wanna do it, you better say good love until I'm got my heart set on points. My clothes are all right. Look out at society, because that train down the track, I'm gonna talk to the top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Oh, come on, baby. Don't you wanna go with me? Because we're gonna go to the top of the world.
That's on Frank Slay's Southern Sound record label, April 62, the Rockefellers. Strike It Rich, Zoom to the Top of the World is the name of the tune. This one would be re-released a year later in 1963 on Frank Slay's SCA label with a different flip side. Yes, it was. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here in Vinytreasure Overtime. Got a request, another request for Chuck Stanton. Requested this group that formed at Scott High School in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Now, Billy Jackson became their manager, and he was previously a member of the Revels of on Norgold, that recorded for Norgold Records, but he produced their debut single, which originally came out on the local Elmar label, and it was subsequently picked up by ABC Paramount Records. And as you know, Johnny G has both copies, but it was easier to find my ABC Paramount copy, and the lead singer is Thomas Bryant. So by request for Chuck Stanton, here are Little Tommy and the Elgins. Little Tommy is Thomas Bryant from July of 62, featuring it on the ABC Paramount label. The song is called Never Love Again.
Real
They like that tune there in the YouTube chat room. Little Tommy and the Elgins. Thomas Bryan on lead there. July 62 by request for Chuck Staton. Never Love Again is the name of that one. Featured it on the ABC Paramount record label, originally released on the Elmar label, which I should find that Elmar label to play the flip side for you next week, Daryl, as we continue here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Now, this next group is from the Coney Island section of Brooklyn. Now, earlier I played a 45 by the Bop Tones on Ember. It was called I Had a Love. Now, Robert Kurtner was a member of that Bop Tones group, and he's also a member of this group on Al Silver's Herald label now. They're called the Vocal Airs, VOCAL-AIRS, as we go to August of 62. The Vocal Airs on Herald with their tune called Dance, Dance.
Dance, dance, baby, dance. Dance, dance, baby, dance. Dance, dance, baby, dance. Dance, dance, baby, dance. Why don't you dance? Ah, come on and dance with me. If you still love me, then you can dance. So why don't you sing? Ah, come on and sing to me. If you still want me, then you can sing. For love, love is a miracle. It can do wonders in anybody's heart. So come on and dance. Ah, come on and dance. If you still love me, then you can dance. Oh. Love is a miracle. It can do wonders in anybody's heart. So come on and dance. Ah, yeah, dance. If you still love me, then you can dance. Oh, dance. Ah, come on and dance. Ah, if you still love me, then you can dance. Oh, I wanna dance, so come on. Ah,
Sounds of 1962 here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. The Vocal Airs, August 62 release. Al Silver's Herald record banner for that one. Dance, Dance is the name of that one as we continue here in 1962. Now, I couldn't file this next 45 back in the No Humidity basement unless I played the B-side of the 45. As we stay in Brooklyn, New York, and last week for Chuck Staton, his request was for the 5 discs on the Cheer label. I featured the A-side, as many of you enjoyed that tune, called Never Let You Go by the 5 discs. Now, the B-side's a killer ballad, so we're going to flip that one over and give it a listen before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. This one from November 62, John Carbone on lead. I'm featuring it on the first Cheer label, which is the black labeled Cheer Records from November 62. Here are the 5 discs with a B-side, a song entitled That Was the Time.
Boom, boom. We had a time on our wedding day. That was the time when you heard me say, I'm so happy, darling. That was the time.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Overtime. The 5 discs there, November 62. That's the flip side to Never Let You Go. That Was the Time is the name of that one. John Carbone on lead. Featured it on the Cheer label. The first press, the black label. It's kind of hard to see the lettering on there. I'll show it to you, those of you in the YouTube chat, as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. This next song brings back fond memories of the Gus Gossard shows. He would play this one often on his show. This group out of Elmont, Long Island, they had this lone release on Frank Allen's Chelsea label, and it starts off with the bass of the group. His name is Sherman Walker. Then the lead comes in. His name is Ernie Eggerson. So let's give a listen to the El Domingos. This one from May of 62, the El Domingos on Chelsea with their tune called Lucky Me, I'm in Love. I remember buying my first copy of that through the mail order when I first heard it on Gus Gossard. I used to do mail order with Disco Disc Records, and they would sell oldies for 75 cents a piece. And I would write in, and I would have a list. You had to list alternates, and they sent it to me on the was it the Candlelight label? That's right. One side is a black label, the other side's like a maroon label. But that's how I first got it. Of course, I got it on the Chelsea. That's the original label, May 62. The El Domingos there with Lucky Me, I'm in Love. Lucky you, Johnny G doing Vinyltreasure Overtime. We're going a little longer here. Probably got a couple more records to go before I sign off here. But I had to get this last request in for listener Mady Campboy. She requested to hear these two brothers from Conaga, California. They were Ralph Gordy Perez and Louis Perez. Collectively, they were known as the Perez Brothers, and they do a fine cover of a 1961 song first done by the New Yorkers on the Wall label. And this one originally came out on the Wolfie label, but for some reason, I think they had to change the label, so Wolfie became Olfies. He took the W away and added an apostrophe S. So anyway, I'm featuring it on the Olfies label, and which is the second press. But anyway, it goes out to Mady Campboy. It's from 62. These are the Perez Brothers on Olfie with their rendition of the tune At Night, parentheses, Dream a Little Dream.
La
had to adjust that camera. Don't know. Some of these records make my focus lens go blurry there, drive you crazy. But anyway, that's by request from Métis Campboy there. Those are the Perez brothers from 1962. Dream a Little Dream is the name of that tune. Originally came out on the Wolfie label, and just featured it on Ophi's Records, which is, I guess, they had to change the name of the label for some reason. Anyway, got a couple more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here, and it's a flip side. Another flip side from last week's Vinyltreasure Show. I featured the Charades out of Tulare, California, with their tune called Please Be My Love Tonight on Fred Astaire's Ava label. But let's flip it over. It's got another cover song on the flip side. First recorded by Emmett Lord on the Liberty label a year earlier in August of 62. But this one's from December 63. Give a listen to the Charades and their rendition of the tune Turn Him Down.
Down, down, down.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show as we close down. From December 63, those are the Charades on the Ava record label, their rendition of the Emmett Lord tune, Turn Him Down. It's time for Johnny G to turn you down. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyltreasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Keep on sending your requests. I revolve the show around your requests. Sometimes a lot of requests, sometimes a little requests. It doesn't really make any difference. It all sounds good. I try to mix and match the songs, slow, fast, medium, etc. Hopefully you like my speed. But I've been recording this one on YouTube. It's going to post up maybe in another couple hours. It'll be up there. So if you missed any of the show, you can go back and check it out. Also, you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there any day of the week. And you can also tune in to the other shows here on Top Shelf Oldies every night of the week, starting at 8 p.m. right here on TopShelfOldies.org. And please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. He'll be on tomorrow from 9 to midnight. He has some cool 60s 45s. A lot of them I don't have. I go to Dave when it comes to some of those 1960s songs. He's really a pro when it comes to garage records. I am like I am on Rare Group Harmony. Dave is up to speed on all that rare garage stuff. So you got to tune in to Dave. He's got some great records and a lot of records he's playing. We'll say a lot of records, very, very little as far as CDs goes. Dave's pretty much all vinyl now. That's going to do it, folks. And our closer tonight is from January 1964. Now, a few weeks ago, actually maybe a couple months ago, I played a request for listener Mady Campboy. She requested a song on Berry Gordy Jr.'s VIP label by a group called the Serenaders. George Kerr was a member of that group, believe it or not. And the song was called I'll Cry Tomorrow. It was a great ballad, but we're going to give a listen to the flip side. That's our closer tonight. Before it goes down in the no humidity basement, we're going to give the flip side a spin. And this record, produced by Berry Gordy's then wife, Ramona Lyles Gordy. We heard about her when she was part of the Raber Voices earlier with that Jimmy Von Carl record. But this is on the VIP label. It features Timothy Wilson on lead. Timothy Wilson of Tiny Tim and the Hits. He's on lead here. So our closer tonight is from January 64, the Serenaders on VIP. It's called If Your Heart Says Yes. And that's what my heart says. Time for Johnny G to say yes and leave. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you, Charlene, for all your help again last minute and for all the work you do for me and the listeners here on Top Shelf Oldies. That's going to do it, folks. Everybody have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday on the Vinytreasure Show beginning at 10 p.m. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
If your heart says yes and your mind says no, would you let the little girl go? If one day love should walk through your door and you know she's the one,
Forgot to show you the last two 45s. Those of you that have this record on the Ava label, Emmett Lord did this first. It's Turn Him Down. You see, check your copy. To know that you have a true original, you see how it says Anthony Music Corp there? If your copy says Anthony Music Corp, then that is the original right there. That's how you can tell. If yours doesn't, you have a second press. There you go. So Dave the Rave, check your copy of that. Also, on this other record, so I played the B-side. Matey requested the ballad side is called I'll Cry Tomorrow by the Serenaders. You might have this on the yellow stock copy. This is a promo copy. They're all vinyl, both. I wonder if this might come on styrene too. I just played the flip side. The flip side for the Serenaders. It's called If Your Heart Says Yes. See, George Kerr is a writer. He was living in Newark for a while. I think he's been on Facebook. He requested me as a friend maybe about a month or so ago, and I told him I was playing a Serenaders record by him, and he was like, he was really happy that I did that, So anyway, but that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the tunes tonight. I will be back next Saturday. Like I said, I'm slimming down. I got one more week to go on this diet, but I'm down 77 pounds from what I was. So anyway, we'll see. Barbara wants to go to the pool tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to go to the pool. I don't know if I'm ready to go to the pool to put my bathing suit on. Maybe I don't fit in my bathing suit, so I can't go. But anyway, thanks you all. Thanks for all you people sticking around, all 7 of you, whoever you are. And I will be back next Saturday for more 50s and early 60s records out of my collection. Of course, the last Saturday of the month is my All 60s show. So I know Mr. Dave the Rave likes my All 60s show, so that'll be the last Saturday of this month. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. I just want to say, everybody, so long. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.